Hello, my name is Dr. Diwan S. Raja. Today I will discuss about the anatomy of the intercostal arteries. Each intercostal space contains one posterior intercostal artery and its collateral branch and two anterior intercostal arteries. So, each intercostal space contains a posterior, it means one posterior you can call it one posterior intercostal artery and its collateral branch. Okay, and two anterior intercostal arteries. So each intercostal space has one posterior intercostal artery with its collateral branch and two anterior intercostal artery are present anteriorly in the intercostal space. The posterior intercostal arteries are present posteriorly in the intercostal space along with their collateral branches. Okay. So if we go to the posterior intercostal arteries first, let's go to the posterior intercostal arteries. Posterior intercostal arteries. Okay. The posterior intercostal arteries, we have one posterior intercostal artery in each of the posterior intercostal space. Okay. They are present in the posterior aspect and they are bigger than that of the anterior intercostal artery. Okay. They are 11 in number on each side. Okay, we got that. So from where they come, the posterior intercostal arteries, this is the posterior intercostal artery, posterior intercostal artery. We have 11 artery. This is the collateral branch. Okay, we got that. Posterior intercostal artery, we have, they are 11 in number. So first and second posterior intercostal arteries are branches of the superior thoracic artery, superior intercostal artery, not thoracic, superior intercostal artery, also called supreme intercostal artery, supreme intercostal artery. Okay. We got that. First and second posterior intercostal arteries are branches of the superior intercostal artery. That is also called supreme intercostal artery. Okay, we got that. This superior intercostal artery is a branch of costocervical trunk. This superior or supreme intercostal artery, superior intercostal artery is a branch of the costocervical trunk. Okay, and costocervical trunk is a branch of the subclavian artery. Okay, then we'll learn costocervical trunk is a branch of subclavian artery. Okay, subclavian artery. Okay, we got the first and second posterior intercostal arteries, branches of the superior intercostal artery or supreme intercostal artery. That is a branch of costocervical trunk, and the costocervical trunk is a branch of the subclavian artery. Okay, we got that. Then third to 11 posterior intercostal arteries, posterior intercostal arteries are branches of the descending thoracic aorta, descending thoracic aorta. Okay, we got the origin of the posterior intercostal arteries. 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th posterior intercostal arteries are branches of the descending thoracic aorta. So if you draw the arch of the aorta, this is in the descending thoracic aorta. Suppose this is the suppose this is the arch of the aorta from the heart, arch of the aorta, and this is the descending thoracic aorta. Okay, this is the arch of the aorta. This arch of the aorta has 3 branches. One is the brachiocephalic trunk, another one is the left common carotid artery, then left subclavian artery. Okay, the brachiocephalic trunk has 2 divisions. One is the right subclavian artery and right common carotid artery. From these subclavian, this is the subclavians, the left subclavian artery. Okay, this is the descending thoracic aorta, DTA. Okay, and this is the right subclavian artery, subclavian artery. From the subclavian artery, we'll get the costocervical trunk, costocervical trunk. Okay, we'll get costocervical trunk, costocervical trunk, and that costocervical trunk will provide the superior intercostal artery or supreme intercostal artery. It is another branch. There is the deep cervical artery. Okay, we'll go to the costocervical trunk. We'll get the superior intercostal artery. From there we'll get 2 posterior intercostal arteries. From the costocervical trunk, superior intercostal artery. From there we'll get 2 posterior intercostal artery for the first one, for the first intercostal space, another for the second intercostal space. Okay, we have multiple branches. Posterior intercostal artery should have 11 pair on each side. Okay, so if we draw there, you get the arteries. Okay, and we'll get collateral branch. Everywhere we get collateral branch, we should get 11 pairs. Okay, we'll get the posterior intercostal arteries and we'll get the collateral branch. We should have 11. Okay, you can make multiple more. 11 posterior intercostal arteries, and each posterior intercostal artery has collateral branch. Okay, we got the posterior intercostal artery and the collateral branch, and the arch of the aorta, brachiocephalic trunk, left common carotid artery, left subclavian artery. The subclavian artery will get costocervical trunk. From costocervical trunk, we'll get the superior intercostal artery that will provide us 2 posterior intercostal arteries, one for the first posterior intercostal space, another for the second intercostal space. Okay, on the posterior aspect, certainly we got the posterior intercostal arteries. So the posterior intercostal arteries, okay, so they ultimately go to the costal groove. Okay, they will follow the rib costal groove, and we know the relationship. Okay, the posterior intercostal arteries, will reach the costal groove. Okay, initially it is in between the pleura and internal intercostal membrane. Then it is in between the intercostalis intimi or innermost intercostal muscle and the internal intercostal muscle in the costal groove area. But at the beginning, it is passes over the endothoracic fascia between the pleura and the internal intercostal membrane. Okay, we got posterior intercostal artery. Ultimately, it should go costal groove. Costal grooves are grooves on the inner surface of the rib, just above the inferior border of the rib, and it is in between. If we have gone through that, the rib we have done in our previous class. Okay, so if this is the rib, here is the costal groove. Here we'll get the vein, then we'll get the artery. We'll get the artery. Just we'll get the artery here. Artery. Then we'll get a nerve. Then we'll get nerve here. So nerve. And how can you remember the neurovascular bundle in the costal groove? Vein, artery, nerve. Okay, we got the vein, artery, nerve here, and its collateral branches should be there. We have the collateral branches should be just above the superior border of the lower rib. Okay, we get some collateral branches. These are collateral branches here, and this is the collateral branch. Okay, we got the rib, and it should be in between the muscle between the intercostalis intimi and the and the innermost intercostal muscle. They're present there between the intercostalis intimi and the innermost intercostal muscle, that is called intercostalis intimi. Okay, so this is the costal group. This is the rib. Here is the rib. Another rib is here. Okay, so we got the neurovascular bundle between the intercostalis intimi and innermost intercostal. Okay, and outside we get the external intercostal muscle. Okay, we got the posterior intercostal arteries. Okay, so we have to go through the branches of the posterior intercostal arteries. We have to remember that posterior intercostal arteries are longer than that of the anterior intercostal arteries. Also, we have to remember that, I can write it here, posterior intercostal arteries are longer than those of the anterior intercostal arteries. Anterior intercostal arteries. Okay, we got that. And also you must remember that right posterior intercostal arteries are longer than those of left posterior intercostal arteries. Okay, we got that. So if you go there, this posterior intercostal artery, branch of what? Here, what is this? This is the descending thoracic aorta. Descending thoracic aorta. Okay. This is the right-sided artery. It is longer. This is the left posterior intercostal artery. This is shorter. Idea is that the descending thoracic aorta is not exactly in the midline. It is a bit left. That's why right-sided artery are longer than that of the left-sided posterior intercostal arteries. Okay, we got that. And once we have learned that part, then what is this? This is the anterior intercostal artery. Anterior intercostal artery. How many anterior intercostal artery in each intercostal space? 2. How many posterior intercostal artery in each posterior intercostal space? 1. Okay, we got that. But certainly posterior intercostal artery has another collateral branch. So we got that. Anterior intercostal arteries are branches of what? Anterior intercostal arteries are branches of the internal thoracic artery for the first, sixth anterior intercostal space. First, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth anterior intercostal space. The anterior intercostal space for the seventh, 8th and 9th anterior intercostal space. The anterior intercostal arteries are branches of the musculophrenic artery. Musculophrenic artery is one of the terminal branch of the internal thoracic artery. Okay, so we got the posterior intercostal artery on the right side is longer than that of the left posterior intercostal arteries, because aorta is not exactly in the midline, it is anterolateral on the left side of the vertebral column here. So it is in front of the vertebral body but a bit left. So the left posterior intercostal arteries are shorter, right posterior intercostal arteries are longer. Okay, we got that. Posterior intercostal arteries, anterior intercostal arteries. Now learn some relations of the posterior intercostal arteries. Posterior intercostal arteries. Okay, so if you look at that, this is what? This is the descending thoracic aorta. Descending thoracic aorta. This is what? This is the posterior intercostal artery. Posterior intercostal artery. So this is another posterior intercostal artery. Posterior intercostal artery. So which is left, what is right? Right posterior intercostal artery should be longer. This is the right posterior intercostal artery. This is the left posterior intercostal artery. This is shorter. Okay, so now we'll learn some relationship. The left posterior intercostal artery should passes behind the it passes okay, so the arteries passes. This is the aorta and this is the esophagus. This is the thoracic duct. This is the azygous vein. So passes behind on the left side. Okay, so we can say left posterior intercostal artery passes behind what? The hemiazygous vein. Hemiazygous vein. And also in the upper level, accessory hemiazygous vein, because we know that accessory hemiazygous vein is above paravertebral vein and the hemiazygous vein is below paravertebral vein on the left side of the vertebral column in the posterior thoracic wall. So accessory hemiazygous vein. Okay, and what is this? This is the left sympathetic chain of ganglion, left sympathetic trunk. Okay, we got the relationship of the left posterior intercostal artery. If you just go to the right posterior intercostal artery, then how it will be differ? Right posterior intercostal artery passes behind what? Passes behind the esophagus and thoracic duct. Okay, passes behind the esophagus, thoracic duct. Okay, this is esophagus. This is what? Thoracic duct. Okay, this is what? This is the azygous vein. Azygous vein. So it is passes behind the esophagus, the thoracic duct, the azygous vein. We know that azygous vein is present in front of the vertebra, paravertebrally on the right side. Okay, so our artery passes behind it. Then what is this? This is the right sympathetic trunk. Right sympathetic trunk. So, and what is this? This is the vertebral body. Vertebral body. So we got the course and relations of the right posterior intercostal artery, course and relation of the left posterior intercostal artery. This is the descending thoracic aorta. Okay, this is the descending thoracic aorta, DTA. This is the thoracic duct. This is the esophagus. This is the azygous vein. This is the right sympathetic trunk. Okay, we have two sympathetic chain of ganglion extending from the base of the skull to the coccyx, and we have two sympathetic trunk. Each trunk has around 22 to 24 sympathetic ganglion, and sympathetic trunk extend from the base of the skull to the coccyx. Okay, we got the relationship and course of the posterior intercostal arteries. Okay, now what are the branches of the, okay, where the posterior intercostal artery end up anteriorly? It end up at the costochondral junction. It anastomoses with the anterior intercostal arteries. So these are the anterior intercostal arteries. This is the end of the posterior intercostal artery here. This is the anterior intercostal artery. Anterior intercostal arteries. And what is this landmark? This is the costochondral junction. Our posterior intercostal artery has a collateral branch, usually near the angle of the rib. Okay, so we got that. So what are the branches of the posterior intercostal artery? Branches of the posterior intercostal arteries. Okay, our first branch is the dorsal branch. Okay, there is the dorsal branch. This is the dorsal branch of the posterior intercostal artery. This branch will supply the vertebral body, the spinal cord area, vertebral canal, okay, and also the muscles, the back, skin over the back. Okay, that is done by the dorsal branch of the posterior intercostal artery. Then we have the, so we have number one, dorsal branch. Then we have the collateral branch. Collateral branch of the posterior intercostal artery is here, and it will anastomose with the anterior intercostal artery. We have two anterior intercostal artery. The upper one will anastomose with the posterior intercostal artery. The lower anterior intercostal artery of each space will anastomose with the collateral branch of the posterior intercostal artery. So, posterior intercostal artery will anastomose with the upper anterior intercostal artery of that particular intercostal space. The collateral branch of the posterior intercostal artery will anastomose with the lower anterior intercostal artery of that particular intercostal space. We have two anterior intercostal artery in each anterior intercostal space. Upper one will anastomose with the posterior intercostal artery. Lower one will anastomose with the collateral branch of the posterior intercostal artery. Okay, we got that. The dorsal branch, collateral branch. We have many other branches. We have also muscular branches that will supply the muscles in the chest wall. Muscular branches. Okay. We have also lateral cutaneous branches. Lateral cutaneous branches. Okay, this is the lateral cutaneous branch. Lateral cutaneous branch of the posterior intercostal artery. This is the what? This is the collateral branch. Collateral branch. Okay, we got the lateral cutaneous branch. We have some mammary branch that supplies the breast. Mammary branches, usually from the second to fourth posterior intercostal arteries, that will supply the breast. And another important branch is the right bronchial artery. Okay, right bronchial artery. And this right bronchial artery arises from the right third posterior intercostal artery. Okay, arises from right third posterior intercostal arteries. Intercostal artery. Okay, so we got the branches of the, again, dorsal branch should supply the vertebra, should supply the vertebral canal, should supply the with the spinal nerves inside the vertebral canal to the spinal cord. Okay, collateral branch. This will anastomose with that of the lower anterior intercostal artery of that particular space. Okay, then we have the muscular branches supplies the intercostal muscle and the chest wall muscles. Lateral cutaneous branch provide the cutaneous supply to the skin, and it also accompanies the lateral cutaneous nerve branch of the intercostal nerve. Then mammary branch, especially second to fourth posterior intercostal arteries, and right bronchial artery arises from the right third posterior intercostal artery. Okay, we got the posterior intercostal arteries. Now we'll go to the anterior intercostal arteries. Okay, so anterior intercostal arteries. Intercostal arteries. So how many intercostal arteries in each of my intercostal space? 2. These are branches of what? These are branches of the internal thoracic artery. Suppose this is a intercostal space here between the two ribs. So how many intercostal artery I will get? Suppose this is a rib, this is a rib, another rib, and this is the intercostal space. How many intercostal artery I will have? I will have 2 anterior intercostal arteries. Okay, these 2 usually comes out separately, or one may come out, it may split. Okay, so this intercostal space contain 2 anterior intercostal artery. This artery will anastomose with the posterior intercostal artery of the same intercostal space. This artery will anastomose with the collateral branch of the posterior intercostal artery of the same intercostal space. Okay, we got the intercostal arteries. How many anterior intercostal artery we have on each side? We have 9 pairs. 1 pair in each anterior intercostal space. Do we have any anterior intercostal arteries in our intercostal space between the 11th rib and the 12th rib? No. Between the 10th rib and 11th rib? No. We have 9 anterior intercostal artery pairs, one pair in each anterior intercostal space. The lower two anterior intercostal space actually is not present. Idea is that because we have the 11th rib, 12th rib are small and they don't come more anteriorly. Okay, they are smaller and they are floating ribs. So we got anterior intercostal arteries. We have 6 of them. Okay, so this is the internal thoracic artery. Internal thoracic artery, from internal thoracic artery we get 6 pairs on each side of 6 pairs of anterior intercostal arteries. Okay, we know that anterior intercostal artery are coming out of the internal thoracic artery for the first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth anterior intercostal space. For the 7th anterior intercostal space, 7th, 8th and 9th intercostal space, okay, they are coming out of the musculophrenic artery. Okay, we get the branches, 1 pair, 2 pair and 3 pair. This is the musculophrenic artery. Musculophrenic artery is a terminal branch of the internal thoracic artery. Internal thoracic artery has 2 terminal branches. One is the superior epigastric artery, the musculophrenic artery. Musculophrenic artery provide 3 pairs of anterior intercostal artery for the space 7th space, 8th intercostal space and 9th intercostal space. We have no 10th and 11th anterior intercostal arteries. Okay, so the anterior intercostal arteries are branches of the internal thoracic artery for the upper 6 intercostal space. The anterior intercostal arteries for the 7th, 8th, 9th anterior intercostal space. These anterior intercostal arteries are branches of the musculophrenic artery. So that's all about the intercostal arteries. If you have any question, please feel free to ask me. Please support my channel. Please subscribe me. Have a nice day. Bye now.